vlog review on Nintendo's Kirby's Pinball Land. I love this game, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this game, why I got it, and some background history about it. As you guys well know, I'm an avid pinball fan. I love pinball games. Since I remember when I was age 10, I always used to play pinball games at the arcades, pinball games at people's houses. I just love pinballs. There's just something about pinball games that really attract me, and they're one of my favorite arcade games. Let's talk a little bit more about Kirby's Pinball Land. As you see here, you can see the cartridge. It's pretty nice graphics on the actual cartridge. It's really nice. I remember the very first time I've ever played this game was when I was in Japan. It was actually a gift from my aunt Setsuko. She lives in somewhere in Japan. I forgot what island she was on, but when I was little, she had given me Kirby's Pinball Land. I had no idea what it was because it wasn't Japanese, but when I popped it into my original Game Boy, I thought, wow, this is awesome. And I really love pinball, and I played this hours and on end in the car. So I'm actually glad to find this American version. I'm really happy. It took me a long time to figure out what was the actual name for it in America, so I'm really glad I found this. I have a lot of the nostalgic memories of this game, and it's a lot of fun, guys. It's very addicting, so definitely worth a decent grab for a Game Boy. Alright, from what I have researched, in Japan it wasn't called Kirby's Pinball Land. It was actually called Kirby No Pinball, and it was originally released around 93 and 94, and it's a pinball game that was developed and released by HAL Laboratory. It was published by Nintendo for the Game Boy, as you guys know already. It was considered to be the third pinball video game after the MSX console and the NES title Rollerball. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Rollerball. And also the Game Boy title Revenge of the Gator, which I heard is a really cool game if you guys are into that. It's considered to be the first spin-off and second title in the Kirby series. That's one thing that I need to start collecting, is some of the Kirby games alone. I really like those games a lot, and especially the Kirby's, I think it's called Dreamland. But they're kind of pricey, I heard, so maybe sometime in the near future I will grab some of those Kirby games. That'd be really cool. It is also considered the second pinball game from Nintendo's original release of just the plain title Pinball. So it's a really cool game, guys. The gameplay is pretty unique. It's not traditional as far as a regular arcade pinball machine, but it does have two flippers. There are many levels and stages to each of the pinball screens. Each table has its own mini game. It can be accessed through a second floor. When you first start out playing the game, you're being launched by a Kirby star, sort of like a star similar to the Super Mario Brothers star, except you don't get an invincibility. In this Kirby game, it just shoots you up into the highest level. There's like 2 or 3 levels of pinball mini games in each, and as you progress, you find a bunch of stars within each mini game to accelerate to the next level or next mission. But if you're not careful, you can slide back down and end up back where you started. And depending on the timing of when you press the jump button, you're able to go back up and play again on the game, or you have to try again with the next given player. So it has the same 3 bosses as in the other Kirby games. If you guys are familiar with Kirby Adventure and that sort of thing, he can jump, he can bounce off of things, he can destroy things. Each mini game in the pinball mini games, there are certain goals you have to figure out to clear the actual board in order to progress to the final stage of each mini game. It's really creative game that they made. I think it looks tons better in color. It brings more in-depth feel to the game as far as the color and the graphics when you play it on the Game Boy Advance or the Super Game Boy on the Super Nintendo. It's really nice. A lot of people compare this game to Pokemon Pinball, but I think it's actually much better than Pokemon Pinball as far as not getting bored and replayability. I think it's a really good game as far as on the go, and it keeps you busy, it keeps you occupied, and you also have to think pretty hard on how to defeat each minigame and how do you defeat all the bosses. I believe there are, let's see, I think there's like 3 senior Kirby bosses in this pinball game. There's Wispy Woods, Kracko, and Poppy Brothers, and I think one more senior. I think he's called Senior. And within each minigame at the final stage, you have to destroy them using Kirby. It would be great if they had some kind of, if they had Sonic Spinball on the go on one of the mobile handheld games. That'd be awesome. I would love to get that. So this game really reminds me of Sonic Spinball a lot. It has that that feel of adventure, and so many things you can do. It keeps you busy. So many things going on in each mini screen, and it's just a fantastic game, guys. I strongly suggest you get Kirby's Pinball Land if you are into pinball games, and it's a great game to kill time when you're on the go or just waiting around, or heck, if you're even on the, if you're even taking a shit in the bathroom, bring it with you and play Kirby's Pinball Land. As far as the reception, a lot of the rankings of the gamers, professional gamers such as IGN, they gave it a pretty, I mean, for the most part they got a positive reception, but it didn't really hold its average score very much. I think it was like 75%, but it did receive a lot of praise considering it's a Game Boy title. IGN did later describe it was an awesome game, and they were praising it for having Kirby go into a different type of form of game and a level of play and cleverness, so that's kind of cool. It was actually nominated by IGN as the Game Boy Action Game of the Century, and it was also recognized by the Reader's Choice Awards, so that's kind of cool. OneUp.com described it as a spin-off that makes sense amongst other groan-inducing spin-off titles. And actually, you know what, guys? Actually, Kirby's Pinball Land also set the pace and the pinball engine for Pokemon Pinball, so that makes sense, because that's probably why I like Pokemon Pinball, is because it's using the same type of engine that the Kirby's Pinball Land was using. So, really cool game, guys. As far as I know, you can do 2-player action on here, I think. I'm not quite sure. You have to verify that, do some research, but I think if you plug in your Game Boy with another user, I think you can play 2-player action on here, but I'm not quite sure. And anyway, great game, guys, and stick around, guys. I'm going to do a gameplay. Show you a brief gameplay of Kirby's Pinball Land on the Super NES using the Game Boy, Super Game Boy adapter. See, that's what happens when you drop all the way down. So you have to use your next player. Then it launches you, see? You got to do it, if you time it right, you can get all the way to the top of the board. Yeah, see, I didn't get all the way to the top. Alright guys, let me show you the other level. I already showed you Poppy level. I'm going to show you Wispy level now. Done. This level reminds me a lot of the pachinko machines in Japan. Okay, you go to the next level when you beat the final guy. Alright, let's go to Krakow. Darn. There we go, all the way to the top. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.